Hello and welcome, everyone. I am so fired up to be kicking off our brand new series where we are going to dive deep into Michael D. Robinson's Guide to the FIDIC Conditions of Contract for Construction. Yep, we're talking about the Red Book 2017. Now, I know, a guide to a contract might not sound like the most thrilling thing in the world, but I promise you, this is the start of an incredible adventure, and I'm so glad you're here for the ride.
I mean, really think about that for a second. We see these mind-blowing structures going up all the time. But how on earth do you coordinate thousands of people, literally millions, sometimes billions of dollars, and all these moving parts to create something amazing, instead of a complete and total train wreck? It's simple, really. You need a game plan. You need a single master rulebook that everybody, and I mean everybody, from the client to the builder to the engineer, agrees to play by. And in the massive, high-stakes world of international construction, the FIDIC Red Book is that rulebook. All right, so here's our plan for today. We're going to introduce this rulebook for giants, talk about why it's so dang important. I'll lay out exactly how this series is going to work. We'll take a quick tour of the book, and then we'll set you up with your very first mission. Let's do it. Okay, first things first, let's pull back the curtain on this thing. Look, I get it. It can seem super intimidating. It's technical, it's dense, but I'm making you a promise right now. By the time we're done with this series, you and I are going to understand this thing inside and out together. So what is it, really? Well, simply put, it's the world's favorite contract for giant construction projects, where the client, who we call the employer, is the one providing the design. My whole goal in this series is to break this down so simply that you could explain it to a 10-year-old. Because at the end of the day, it's just about making sure everybody is playing on the same team and reading from the same playbook. Now, to really get why this rulebook is such a big deal, you gotta understand what the world was like before it. Why did we even need to create something so detailed in the first place? Before contracts like this, sorting out disagreements was an absolute nightmare. A single argument could get tangled up in legal battles for years. It wasn't just slow, it was ridiculously expensive. We're talking about costs that could literally bankrupt a construction company. The whole system was broken, and it desperately needed a fix. And this timeline here, it really tells a story. You had the old 1987 rules, which kind of relied on the engineer to be an all-powerful, independent referee. But that started to change. So in 1999, a whole new set of books came out, including the first ever Red Book. Fast forward to 2017, and we get the modern, super refined version that we're going to be digging into. And let me tell you, the 2017 edition is a massive leap forward. This isn't just a simple update, it's a total redesign. It's clearer, it's fairer, and here's the most important part. It has a huge focus on avoiding disputes from ever happening in the first place. It's a total game changer. It's proactive, not just reactive. Okay, so I've been promising to make this whole thing simple and fun, but how are we actually going to do that? Let's talk about our method, our game plan for the entire series. It's a really simple 4-step process. For every chapter, we'll start with one big picture overview explainer. Then we'll do separate deep dives into the specific clauses. Every single explainer will kick off with a quick recap of the last one, and we'll always finish with the key takeaways. The so what, why this actually matters to you. This way, we build your knowledge piece by piece, so you never feel lost or overwhelmed. And now for the really fun part. Let's do a quick flyover of the entire book. Think of this like looking at the map of our whole adventure before we even take our first step into the wilderness. It's going to be awesome. First up, clauses 1 through 5. This is where we meet the cast of characters. You've got the employer, the person who wants the thing built, the contractor, the one doing the building, the engineer, who's like the referee, and the subcontractors, the extended team. And clause 1? That's the bedrock, the ground rules for the entire game. Next, we get right to the heart of it all, time and money. Man, these clauses are so important. They cover everything from when the project starts and how to deal with delays, to how you measure the work, how you handle changes, and, of course, the big one, how and when the contractor gets paid. Then we dive into the real nuts and bolts, the actual construction work. These clauses are all about quality control. They set the rules for the people on the job, the quality of the materials, and all the critical tests that happen at the end to make sure everything was built just right. And finally, we'll get into the sections that cover what happens when things, when they go wrong. This is all about managing risk. It covers who's responsible for what, what happens if there's a flood or an earthquake, and the formal process for making claims and, if it comes to it, handling disputes. So there you have it. That's our map. We know what this book is, we know why it's here, and we know the exact path we're going to take through it. So, where do we start? Well, just like any massive building project, our journey has to start with a rock-solid foundation. And for us, the foundation of this whole rulebook is, you guessed it, the very first chapter. That's right. Our very next explainer is going to be a full overview of Clause 1, General Provisions. This is where we learn the official language of the contract, the definitions, the rules of communication, everything else is built on this. You absolutely do not want to miss it. I am so incredibly excited to be your guide on this adventure. Are you ready to stop being intimidated by these contracts and start actually mastering them? I thought so. Then make sure you follow along for the next explainer when we take our first official step. I can't wait to see you there.